The University of Oregon is located in Eugene, a city of 80,000 people, situated in the lush Willamette River Valley, midway between Cascade Mountains and the Pacific Ocean.
Touchdown! Jonathan Stewart! Yeah, I got your speed right here.
Hey, ball corner 10, outside 5. Are you kidding me?
I'm really proud of where this team's at. We got a lot of work to do.
What's the deal, Duck family? I am Kenyon Barner alongside my boy Jay Stu, and we want to welcome you to another episode of the Ducks of a Feather podcast. What a time, what a week, what a game. This was quite a week for the Duck family, man. An important week, a crucial week, really a must-win week with the way that things have been shaken up from the rankings. But listen, it was a hell of a week, and we got the job done.
We got the job done.
We got the job done, and we did it well. But before we get into that, we got a great episode in store for y'all. We got a we got a Hall of Fame guest. Okay,
got a Hall of Fame guest.
Let me not just say special, right? Special wouldn't do this individual justice. It just wouldn't do it. You know, we got a Hall of Fame man, we got a Hall of Fame coach, we got a Super Bowl winning coach, we got a Super Bowl winning player. Listen, we got somebody that's coming to the flock. We flocking again this week.
Yeah,
we'll get into that in a little bit. We got Mr. Tony Dungy coming on. I can't wait for this. I really can't. But before we go further, as always, my God, how was the weekend?
Man, the weekend was fantastic. I had some high blood pressure moments on Saturday.
Didn't we?
Iowa wanted to test my patience, and so did some Oregon players wanted to test my patience. But you know what? Came out victorious. Sappington, Atticus, we love you, dog. Keep on kicking.
Do we?
And then Sunday, my Panthers, man. Lord, man.
It ain't looking too good out there in good old North Kakalaki. It started off great.
Mm-hmm.
Started off.
Them Aints came in there 1-8, dog, and said, "Look,
left out two.
Bryce,
left out wins two.
Bryce, you gonna have to throw the ball. Can you do it?"
Yeah.
Man,
well,
couldn't do it.
This is and I told you so.
Hey, man, relax. Man, let's move on. But shout out to the Super Bowl team, Patriots and the Eagles winning their games this weekend. But the other Super Bowl team, they lost. Okay? So now, how about that? The Buccaneers.
Well,
them
fly,
Bucks lost.
Eagles, fly on the road to you know what I'm saying? I'm a Philly guy.
Oh, you Philly? That's who you rep?
Illadelph, baby. I'm a Broad Street bully.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Tush Push in person?
I've never seen it in person.
So it happened after you was gone?
Yeah, it hadn't been invented yet.
Mm-hmm.
The rules hadn't allowed for it. You know, and listen, there's a lot of hate out there about the Tush Push. It's not that we.
Hey man, look, the Tush Push last night, they was offsides. Offsides.
Once
they beat offsides. They just got
but on the possession before, Green Bay was offside, so it canceled out.
It don't cancel nothing.
It did.
How do you cancel momentum? You can't measure momentum.
Let's be real and let's be honest. It was an Eagle game from the beginning. Okay.
Oh, okay. See,
shout out to Jalen. Shout out to Mr. Smith. Shout out to Saquon. Listen. Shout out to my birds. But listen, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, we're here to talk about them other birds.
Yeah, them good old Ducks, them Ducks of a feather. Went up. Get your words together. Went out there to Iowa, got the dub 18-16 in a nail biter, in a absolute. This was the truest form of Big Ten football that the Ducks have witnessed, the Ducks have been a part of. This was a true Big Ten game. This was a gritty. This was a grimy. This was a dirty. This was a trench baby game. Weather. All of it on the road. This was a true Big Ten test, and not going to say we passed with flying colors, but we go into this game shorthanded, right? We go into this game without Decoring. We go into this game without Harkey. We go into this game without Sadiq. It's huge. That's a lot.
Huge.
That's a lot to be missing from your offense. You're missing your starting right tackle. You're missing your starting tight end, your number one receiver. It's iffy. You know, we had talked.
It was very iffy
kinda,
going in. We was kind of scratching our heads like, man, look, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. Look,
keep it a bean.
I was in the airport on Saturday morning, and me and Kenyon had talked the night before, and I was just kind of, it was just weighing heavy on my heart, just wondering, is everything gonna be okay on Saturday? Right? That's how I woke up in the morning on my flight back to Charlotte, and as I landed, the game had started, right? And I tune in on my phone. I get to the house to put the game on the TV, find myself on the couch, and I'm just watching this game. I'm like, man, it's pouring. It is a disaster out there. It was ugly. And it was exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
All right? One of them ugly games. But you want to know something, Kenyon?
What's up?
I was anticipating, a beatdown. And the scoreboard didn't present it to be so. But them rushing yards
was a beat down. Was a bent. Listen, that was an old school go outside. That was a grandmama whooping. Go pick your switch.
Yeah, go pick your switch.
And don't you bring one of them little wimpy things back, or otherwise I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna get it. Listen,
I'm gonna go get a log.
Listen, this game showed me something about Oregon.
What did it show you?
It showed me what we've thought and what we talked about all along.
What was that?
Run the ball.
Run it.
Listen, and I definitely want to talk about Noah. Noah is finding his rhythm the last couple of weeks. This was the best game that I've seen Noah play since he's been at the U of O. You want to talk about a dude being in control. Noah was in a zone.
Yeah. What did you see specifically about him?
From Noah?
Yeah.
Listen, it was his patience. I have yet to see Noah be as patient as he was in this game. Yeah. It's what we talk about, what D-Lo taught us both. The slow to, fast through.
Fast through.
It was so beautiful to watch him get that ball, be under control, be slow, be able to see it and hit it. It was his vision. It was his burst. It was his urgency. It was the power and physicality that he ran with. This is not the biggest back in the Big Ten. But every time this dude ran through a hole, he made you feel him and he was falling forward. He was an absolute physical force, and I thought this game would call for Mr. Jordan. Yeah. I thought this would call for Agent Zero to be out there, but Noah proved me absolutely wrong and said, no, KB, I got this. And I texted him after the game. I said, this was the best game that I've witnessed you play. That right there that should catch NFL scouts' attention.
I was going to say, that was an NFL scout game because you got the rain. Ain't nothing else you're going to do besides run the ball. So what we going to do?
Yeah,
what you going to do? You going to make it happen? You going to make it shake?
Everybody know what we going to do. Everybody know. Everybody know. Both sides of the field know. Run the rock. Now, what I will say. Ooh.
Oh, fight it. Fight that bee or that fly.
It was a bee.
A fly or a bee?
A bee. I'm allergic to that.
That was a ladybug, man. That was a ladybug.
See, you always trying to try me. Try Jesus. Don't try me, because I throw hands.
I throw hands.
But no, man, this was an ugly game, right? This was a game where we pretty much had just as many rushing attempts as we had. We had more rushing attempts than we had passing attempts, and rightfully so. I didn't like how we started the game. I didn't like
the that we passes.
It blew my mind.
It blew mine too. There's a lot of questions out there. That's why I was saying my heart rate, my blood pressure.
Look, you see this? Do you see this here Corals 3 watch that I be wearing?
Yeah.
My heart rate at one point in time in that game was up to 102. Oh, and I wasn't doing nothing but sitting down on the couch.
You was over there like this.
Look.
Come on now.
Breathe, KB.
Usa.
But listen, This was a game where all the quote-unquote experts, all the quote-unquote smart people, even, listen, one of my favorite people in this media space, Mr. Kirk Herbstreit.
Kirk, you was so wrong.
Listen, he wasn't so wrong.
He wasn't so wrong. He was on to something, but he was wrong about the outcome.
Here we go. Check this out.
Saturday.
He was wrong.
You think that?
Check it out.
Oh, it's getting real loud.
I know. Why are you saying that? Why'd you say that so loud? Like,
we all love Dan Lanning. It's going to get dark in the second half.
It did.
And I'm telling you, Iowa's going to be just typical Iowa. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be like 15-12. You're going to wonder, how the hell did we get to 15-12? But that's part of the fun with Iowa. We don't know how we got to 15-12, but it's going to be 15-12.
Was there a safety? What happened?
Yeah, there was.
Actually, they bobbled the snap. The kicker picked it up, ran it in for a 2-point conversion as they were trying to do an extra point.
Something wacky, and then they're going to be lined up to kick a game-winning field goal.
They were.
It's 15-13. It's 15-13. There's like 40 seconds to go. The crowd's going crazy. Here we go, lining up, 45-yarder, right hash, boom, nail it. Game over, 16-15. Iowa wins.
Oh, my God. The Hawkeyes with Granaski, this D3 Heisman winner, national champion before.
No longer winning with punting and defense. No,
winning with just a quarterback that can't throw, but he can run really good. He can run really good.
And look at the fans. That's the difference in the game.
Kirk's dogs going crazy out there.
He was wrong. He was right about one thing. He was right about one thing. It was a field goal that was going to win the game. He was right about the fact that it was going to be ugly. He was right about that dang 2-point. He was right about all that besides the actual
outcome. Yeah. So he was wrong. He was right about a lot. He just had it on the wrong side. Yeah. But it wasn't just him. It was a lot of everybody thought that this would be the game that would clip the Ducks' wings. No pun intended. You like what I did right there?
Yeah, I like that. So what does that say about where they ranked at right now?
We can talk about that. I have an issue with where they're ranked at right now, right? And I'm talking AP poll. By the time this is aired, the college football playoff rankings will be out. But the AP poll has us sitting behind a team that went, and I'm not going to get disrespectful because we all know that I can, right? We all know that I can go to a...
go there. I want you to go there.
You want me to go there?
Take me there. Let's go there. Take me to that disrespectful place that you want to go.
I want to go, and listen, I'm going to go. You asked for it. I'm going to give it to you. Let's be real and listen. A game again where all you quote-unquote experts, all you quote-unquote smart people decided that this would be the game that Oregon would lose, that they would go into Iowa, that they would go into the rain, that they would go into the sleet, that they would go into the dark, that they would go into the cold, that they wouldn't be able to play Big Ten football, they wouldn't be able to get physical with Iowa, that Iowa would do what Iowa has done to every team that they've played, including Indiana.
What did Bane say in Batman?
Listen,
I was born in the darkness.
You nearly adapted to it, okay? So, again, all these quote-unquote, this was a game that Oregon was supposed to lose. You guys wanted us to lose. And yet we go in and we win this game in Iowa fashion. We Iowa in Iowa. We did what everybody said Iowa was going to do to us. We did what no one had been able to do to Iowa, I believe, since like 2022, maybe 2020. Go in there. Run the football. Everybody talked about Iowa's defense and how physical they are. Everybody talked about Iowa's offensive line and how dominant they had been. That's what the storylines were about this game. That even Coach Saban talked about Oregon not being physical, not being able to run the ball the way that you would expect them to run. Kirk Herbstreit, everybody. We go in here, we rush for
261 yards on 36 carries, 7.3 yards per carry, one touchdown, and 49 yards was our longest rush. And that was by Dante Moore, right? Dante had 46 yards rushing. You can do the math, right? You take that out of the equation. That's about 220, 215, whatever you want to call it. We ran for 200 plus yards, and all of our running backs was over 6 yards per carry.
All of
So
them.
it wasn't a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake. And so, again,
Our offensive line,
did they
the
think?
trench work, they went in there and said, hey, look, we doing some musical chairs here at the offensive line.
It didn't matter.
It don't matter. The left side, talk about the left side of the offensive line.
I'm going to
please.
get there in a minute. I'm not done talking about the disrespect. I'm not done talking about
we're still in the disrespect lane. Go ahead.
I'm not done talking about the disrespect that Oregon continues to get. So again, all you talking heads, all you smart folks, this was a game we were supposed to lose. And we go in here and we dominate the game in a way that nobody has ever seen Oregon dominate a game in the Big Ten thus far. On the ground, being physical in the trenches, right? We go and do that. Come out of this and you release the AP poll and we're ranked. We not only are we drop, right? We drop an AP poll. Drop to number 7 behind Ole Miss. A team that they're having a great season. They got some quality guys over there. They got some studs over there at Ole Miss. But Ole Miss played Citadel. They played the school of the lame, blind, and deaf. Ole Miss played a JUCO and did exactly what they were supposed to do against a team that they were supposed to dominate.
Nobody can't see the ball.
Nobody expected Ole Miss to lose to Citadel in week 30 of the season. Nobody expected that. So how is it that because Ole Miss beat the JUCO and Citadel,
how they move up in rankings?
How they jumped Oregon when we were slotted to lose. It's not like we were supposed to win according to you talk. We were supposed to lose. So the disrespect, if you don't like us, just say that. If you don't want us there, then just say that. Come out.
They don't want us there.
They don't want us there. And it's clear and it's evident how. And again, I'm sure some of these voters on the AP poll, I'm sure some of them probably have some votes on the college football playoff rankings. So again, if you don't like us, just say that. We understand.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all don't like us. It's fine. We'll push the line with it anyway. We could be on a 3-hour time difference.
All we got to do is win the rest of these games anyway.
That's it.
And you want to know what? I'm glad that we got boot. I'm glad we got dropped. You know why? That's gonna fuel Dan and them boys that we talk about identity.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take on any identity of any coach right now in college football, it's Dan Lanning.
Absolutely.
It's whatever it takes mentality. Whatever it takes. And it's not backing down from anybody. As a matter of fact, we taking it to anybody. And wherever you want to be, I heard him say we can be in a parking lot in the grocery store, right? Meet us there. We're playing football right there in the parking lot. You better make sure you bring your pads, bring your knee pads and all that.
Listen, bring your lunch pail,
pads.
your steel-toe boots, and your hard hat, all right? That's what you better bring.
Yeah, because you're going to get this work.
You're going to get this work. So, man, we go in there, we get the job done. Again, I thought this was a beautiful there was a point in time, bro. I don't know if you've seen this stat. There was a point in the second half where Dante was 0 for 1 going into the fourth quarter, I believe it was. And we had ran the ball, I don't know how many consecutive times, and just completely creating a new line of scrimmage, completely demoralizing this quote unquote run stopping defense in Iowa. It was absolutely beautiful, you know, especially from a running back. I loved seeing what I saw. I loved it. But again, for us, this is what we've been calling for, right? We've been calling for Oregon, just run the ball.
Yeah,
just run the ball.
I got the series right here. Ended with a field goal. So we went no huddle, shotgun. Jordan Davison rushed to the left, 2 yards. Next play, 49-yard scamper by Dante Moore. Goes out of bounds on the left side. 5-yard run out of the gun, Jordan Davison. Next play, 3-yard run down the middle, Jordan Davison. The next play, 4-yard run. Guess who? Dante Moore, down the middle. No huddle, shotgun. 1-yard gain, Noah Whittington. Next play, 7-yard run. Guess who? De'Aaron Hill Jr. rushed to the left for 7 yards. The next play. No huddle. Dante Moore, rush, middle, for a 6-yard loss. Okay, that was where I had a little question mark because that's when we went empty, right? When we wanted to get cute and do a quarterback draw. Just go back up here and dial up the same play that you just ran with Hill Jr.
Hit him in the mouth. Play downhill. Hand the ball off. Hit him in the mouth.
It ain't hard, man. As simple as that. We went through all them plays, and we ended up with a nice little field goal because of that play, in particular with the empty and all that. We just, called a dumb play, and
Stu,
you get hit for 6 yards.
You can even go. You can go to possession before that. But you can listen. We ran the football.
We ran it.
We ran the football.
Run them.
And listen, one thing about great teams, they're going to run the ball and they're going to play defense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what we did. Outside of, late in the fourth quarter with a couple of blown coverages that we had, we played defense in a physical game. Now, obviously, Gronowski isn't, he's not. He
ain't like that.
I try. Listen, when it comes to players, right?
Yeah, we want to protect the player, but guess what? The player gonna know at some point. It's better coming from us than it is coming from somebody else that don't know ball. Look, he is an Iowa guy, and hopefully he gets better.
Yeah.
All I know is Marv McNutt. You would have been better off at quarterback than him. You play receiver at Iowa. Okay. And as a matter of fact, Marv, you owe us.
Yeah, we ain't forgot. Get us our video, Marvin.
We need that video.
Listen.
You got up until today.
Nah, I needed it yesterday.
Yeah, he had 48 hours.
I did. But you got to learn it. He got to learn it. I seen his comment. He said he got it coming, so we're going to wait on it. But let's get into we're going to save the best for last, right? And the best is Atticus Sappington, okay? So we'll get to him in a minute, but I mean, we can. You know what I thought was terrible in this game?
What?
The officiating.
Oof,
I thought
maybe they couldn't see.
No, they couldn't, clearly. Clearly.
Blind mice out there.
And it had nothing to do with the weather. It had nothing to do with the inclement weather that was out there on that field. There was so many bad calls. Iowa had a clear first down on one of their drives, and they called them short. The very next play, they ran a QB sneak. Gronowski fumbled the ball, got stuck, clearly did not get the first down. They gave him the first down. There was the pass interference call on iffy. That was a very iffy call. It was trash. It was a terrible call. There was the hands to the face call that we got when he clearly he had nothing but jersey and was just driving. He was driving it. It wasn't that. There was the 2-point conversion that they tried to give Iowa. Stevie Wonder in a dark room, no electricity, seeing that boy was out of bounds when he caught the ball off the tip.
They was trying every angle. They was over there. Look, y'all got another angle. Y'all ain't got the field goal post set up yet.
Listen, it was so bad, and I never truly comment on officiating, right? But that was terrible, and that was it was blatant. It was obvious. It was
a waste of TV time. That's what it was.
That was terrible. I was so nervous on the play that Brandon Finney Jr. made on Weegan on that fumble. I was so afraid that they would try and say that he had control of that ball when it was between his legs.
Boy, we ain't never seen that before.
Ever.
And the thing is, his hand was right on the ball. Like, listen. He had one palm on that football.
Listen.
That was the control.
Listen. Like, when the way they was officiating, Stu, I was nervous. I'm like, please.
You start feeling like remember the Titans, huh?
Let the kids play. Let them play. Let them play. You better get back in that coaching box if you want to stay in this game, coach. What? Yes. That's how I felt. Like, I'm like, They're going to try and rob these boys.
Mhm.
This is why they say you can't leave the game in referees' hands.
No.
Right? You never want human judgment to come into play. And I was so worried about. I was so worried that would take place. But listen, this defense. You want to talk about guys being all over the place? Jerry Mixon all over the field.
Jerry Mixon had a game.
He had a game. Dylan Thieneman all over the field. You had Tatum having a day. Bear, I watched Bear a lot, was having a day. Amari Washington is an absolute, he's a beast. These dudes played ball, and I love to see it. Coming over to that offensive side of the ball, we had Harkey out, and the young fella stepped in, Janoris.
Janoris.
Janoris, listen. Hold on.
Hey, Janoris, baby, look. This is what you need to work on. You got to get your legs, your feet underneath you, but you can't just let them sit there. You got to move them.
Got to move them, baby.
Feet. Be where your feet are, right? You block with your feet. You ever heard that? Wherever your feet are, that's where you are. Okay? And if you want to take a guy somewhere, you got to use your feet. You got to extend them arms too, but you got to move your feet. And because the earth, especially on that turf, you ain't got no business moving, right? So,
listen,
look, you got to trust your grounding. You got to trust the alignment that you got, and trust the guys next to you as well.
Yeah, but
but this was his first game.
No doubt.
And it's a big responsibility to go win and replace on such a platform, on such a game with so much magnitude, and to want to go out there and perform.
Listen.
I appreciate
Listen. No, it's next man up.
Yeah.
You got to get the job done. Point blank, period.
Ain't no such thing as a rookie. Ain't no such thing as a freshman.
Ain't no such thing. You got to get the job done.
First time.
I went back and I wanted to really watch him, and I took a couple notes on him. He has to be more physical at the point of attack, consistently, balance. You talked about his feet. He has to become more balanced, and in pass protection, he has to stay off his heels. Those are a couple areas, and we got to stay off the ground, baby boy. You got to stay off the ground.
Them hips.
You're a big boy. You're a big boy. But nevertheless, he held his own. Went out there, especially in that type of environment, the weather. He went out there and held his own. But we got to get to the man. Okay, we got to get to the man, Atticus Sappington. Stu, I got PTSD. I'm not gonna lie. I got PTSD.
What happened?
When Atticus was lined up for that game-winning field goal, I didn't even look at the TV. I put my head down, and I immediately had a flashback to 2011 and 2012 when USC beat us at home. And then when we turned around and lost to Stanford my senior year 2 game.
I remember that. I remember that game. You know where I was at? I was at Selwyn Pub here in Charlotte.
Okay.
Watching y'all. It got on my nerves.
Yeah, boy, listen, and again, obviously there's a bunch of plays that contribute to a team losing a game. Plays not being made, mistakes, lack of execution.
But the kicker missed the kick, dog.
A bunch of them. And in that moment, I realized I got PTSD because in my mind, I immediately thought back, and I thought back to Alejandro Maldonado, and I got pissed all over again. And in my mind, I'm like, damn, I hope that they don't feel what I felt. I remember the USC game in 2011 where I stood on that sideline and I just sunk down and broke down. Like, damn, we had opportunities. And then I'm having flashbacks. I remember, bro, after that USC game, we come out the locker room, our kicker is laughing and smiling with his girlfriend. Stu.
I have that same feeling.
You've been around my brothers.
Yeah, I had that same feeling.
They looked at me, they said, let it go.
Yeah, don't do it.
Let it go.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are out here laughing and smiling as if you just didn't miss
all them
Anyway,
field goals.
I told you I got PTSD and I'm going backward. But Atticus Sappington, okay?
He's a different kicker these days, man. I had the same type of deal, but I didn't have a flashback while I was watching Sappington. When we played Oregon State at Oregon State years ago, 7 years ago, we had a same situation where we had a kicker, and he missed every kick in that game. And after the game, he wasn't upset about it. He was actually, going on about his life. And that bothers us as players because we put in this, we put in the work throughout the week. Blood, sweat, and tears. And it means something to us. And so when you see your fellow teammates, carrying on like it don't matter, it bothers us.
Boy, Liz, we had your head down, but my hands started moving uncontrollably just now.
Yeah, your hands are sweating. If your hands are sweating, you need to go get a towel.
Listen, but Mr. Atticus Sappington, listen, I grew up a fan of New Edition, okay, baby? Tell me, can you stand the rain? Can you stand the rain, baby? And you can stand that. You can, listen, you did your thing. Listen, them 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
No more important points than those this season. Absolute MVP of this game. Again, ice in his veins. Okay?
Ice in his veins.
When I do this, I'm talking about Atticus Sappington. Hey, hold on. Wait. Okay.
Hey, I ain't never did that. No, this is that IV that I used to get. I used to get it right there.
Okay.
No, but look, you want to know who else is cold? You want to know who else is cold? Dante Moore.
I lost it.
Hey, look.
I lost it.
Dial into the phone. Dial into Cold Stone. Dial into Cold Stone, please. May I get a gotta have it? Yeah, gotta have it ice cream. Because it's cold out here. Because Dante Moore was also cold. Dante, ice in his veins. Dante over there throwing stripes, okay, to set up Sappington. And then Mr. Cole himself, ice in his veins, comes out there and says, I got ice in my veins. I got ice in my veins too. Is this an ice party?
Oh.
Huh? Is this frozen? Is we frozen out here? Boy, or is it just raining out here?
That boy threw a frozen rope to Malik, boy.
A frozen rope.
Listen, that dot that he threw, that's what has NFL scouts going crazy over Dante Moore.
Yeah, come on
There
out.
has been some inconsistencies with this season, but listen, when you see passes like that, you can't help but get excited because listen, the timing, the placement, that is a first round throw.
Look, let alone you do that in practice. It's hard to do it in practice.
Man.
To do it on a game-winning drive in the rain, Iowa,
over the defender's shoulder into the how Sway?
How Sway? You know, like
you don't got the answers. Yeah, we don't. Nobody has the answers as to how he did that. That dude is so talented. It is that when he threw that ball, bro. I was watching it at my parents' house. I almost cursed.
I almost said, "What did he do?"
When he threw it, I said, "What the?" Oh, my grandmama right there, boy. Tone it down. Tone it down. Let me bring it down. But listen, absolute
that boy Cold Stone.
Man,
ice cream, gotta have it. The big size.
Yeah, that was that throw again. The play by Brandon Finney Jr. The fumble, huge. This was a great win for a beat up team. We're a beat up team right now. And over the next course of this week, we got to get healthy. Hopefully we can get those guys back. But even if they're obviously nobody's 100% right now, right? Everybody's battling something. If those guys,
I'm not worried about it. to be honest.
So you want me to say something?
Say it.
This ain't a game where we need Harkey back. This ain't a game where we need Kenyon Sadiq back. This is not that. So if by any chance we can rest those guys, rest them. Let them get let them get healthy for USC. Let them get healthy for UW. Where in every game counts. Well, listen, I got to get out this player mindset where I got to speak freely. Listen, we don't need them this week. We don't need them.
You don't.
We shouldn't need them. We don't need them. We got two important games.
You got Jamari Johnson. You got Malik Benson. You got Gary Bryant Jr.
No,
hold on.
Depending on what goes on with Gary's injury.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was. So
but
prayers
you
up
got
for
Jamari
GB.
Johnson, Malik Benson. You got Cooper Perry. I like Coop. I mess with Coop. McClellan. And then we got that running game. Okay.
Yeah.
These guys that I just listed, especially a guy like Cooper Perry, he ain't really seem to feel too much, right? He's going to have a whole week of preparation now. He's going to have a whole week of mental stability of knowing whether or not he's going to be suiting up and being a target on Friday, right?
Yeah.
And it's a short week too. You don't want to put these guys that are injured into harm's way on a short week. Because what you want to do is you want to get these guys to after the game, after a win, so that way they now have an extra day, Kenyon, of rest. They play on Friday, that means you got an extra day to rest.
Yeah.
So go ahead and get that rest, baby.
He really needs no introduction. Super Bowl champ, not only as a player, but as a coach. Hall of Fame father, Hall of Fame man, inspiration, mentor, none other than Mr. Tony Dungy. Welcome into the flock. Thank you so much, Coach, for being here. It is an absolute honor to have you on with us. I've been looking forward to this. Me and Stu and Rye and G, we came together maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we started talking about a list of guys that we would love to be able to talk to as we go out through the rest of this season from different schools. And your name came up, and I lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm sure everybody else, once they get to witness this, they'll be happy as well.
Well, thank you for having me. It's amazing to be on with you. I've got some great memories of my times at the U of O with my son. Great memories of both of you guys watching you play, and it's just been phenomenal to see what you've done, not only on the field, but now what you're doing. So just a joy to be with you.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, Tony, it really is an honor. I remember I met you, 2009, 2008. And ever since then, and it was actually around the time that you came out with the book Uncommon. For the listeners out there, y'all need to go and look up Tony Dungy and all of his books that he's written. There's a lot of good knowledge and a lot of good wisdom and food for the spirit, right? But just watching you, as a man, as a coach, and just seeing how you've been able to evolve into this new space that you're in now, commentating and really just being, available to people that need and want and hunger for football knowledge. Is that something that you've always wanted to do post, coaching? Or how did that happen?
It really kind of amazing. I played college football. I was a quarterback, wanted to go to the NFL, and didn't get a chance to play quarterback. But I got a chance to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers and switch over to defensive back. And I couldn't really understand why. I couldn't figure it out. I was disappointed at first. But then I got to Pittsburgh, and my coach was a guy by the name of Chuck Noll. And the very first, when I got there, they'd already won 2 Super Bowls. And the first meeting we had, he said, "Welcome to the National Football League. Guys, you're rookies now. You're going to get paid to play football, so it's going to be your profession. But don't make football your whole life. You have to figure out what you want to do with your life. You're going to get some thrills on the field, but if that's it, that is really going to be a waste of time." And I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there thinking, man, I thought this guy was going to tell me how we're going to win more Super Bowls and what I have to do to be a great player. And he's talking about how do you want to get fulfilled in life. Well, he lived that out for us. I played for him for 2 years, and then I came back on the coaching staff for 8 years. And his whole thing was, what do you really want to do with your life? Yes, it's great to have a career in football. Yes, it's great to play. It's great to coach. But what do you want to do with your life? And that really just led me to think. I started thinking as a 21-year-old rookie, okay, what do I want to do? And the more I went on, I felt like, gosh, I want to help other people, and I want to pay back and give other people the same opportunity that I had. So when he asked me to join his coaching staff, I was 25 years old, and I really had never coached before. And he said, I want you to be here, and your job as a coach is to help our players be better and help them be better on the field and off the field. So for the next 28 years, that's what I tried to do as an assistant coach and then as a head coach, pass on my knowledge, but also help young men grow. And it's been a great journey, and I've loved to do it. And so when I stopped coaching, how can I continue to do that and help people? And that's just what I've always wanted to do.
You have absolutely done that. I met you obviously when Eric came to the U of O. And obviously knowing who you were, but having conversation with you, your light was always bigger than just a coach. You have a spirit about you that you just can't help but to pour into people, whether you're intentionally doing it or not. Just your hello, just your how are you doing? It touches you in a way. And I had that interaction from the very beginning and even up until this point. That is who you have been for me. Somebody that I look up to, somebody that can guide, somebody that when I hear talk, I don't just hear X's and O's, I hear life. So, it's absolutely incredible to hear that as a 25-year-old young man, you were asked the question, what do you want to do with your life? And oftentimes along that path, we change. We may veer off and go right, veer off and go left, make a right turn, a left turn, but you have stayed in what your purpose and what your calling is. So it's absolutely amazing to hear that. And knowing, again, that you started at 25 years old and you still live that today, it's a beautiful thing to hear.
Well, thank you. And it's I've enjoyed watching you guys play in college, play in the NFL, but to see what you're doing now and to see going forward, that is so special. And that's a thrill to me right now. I live in Tampa, Florida now. I coached the Bucks for 6 years, but this has been my home now for 25 years. And when I look around and I see what my former players are doing in town and the role models that they are and the things that they're doing for the community, that's so much more satisfying than just, hey, we won a few games or we won this championship or whatever. These guys are part of the fabric of the community, and there's nothing more gratifying than that.
Coach, you've been one of the, I think, pillars for a lot of guys, for a lot of athletes and coaches about our faith, especially in this sport, football.
Yeah.
You've been very public about it. What was the first time football and faith felt like there was tension for you? And how did you resolve it?
I was brought up in a Christian home, and my mother, her favorite verse that she just kept hitting us with over and over when I was young was Matthew 16:26. What would it profit a man if you gain the whole world but forfeit your soul?
Yeah.
And so I knew that, I heard that as a young guy, but then when I'm so focused in high school and college, I want to get a scholarship, I want to go to the NFL, so I'm just driven on sports. And I signed with the Steelers, and Coach Noel put me as a roommate with a guy named Donnie Shell. And Donnie Shell was a great player, powerful.
So Donnie Shell was our player.
Oh, yes.
He was our player coach, I guess, what you would call him.
Player engagement.
For the player engagement guy here in Carolina.
Yeah. Well, he was a great man and a Pro Bowl strong safety at the time. And I'm just a young kid trying to learn how to play safety. And Coach Knowles says, I'm going to put you in the room with this guy, do what he does. And I watched him, and he asked me every morning, so what did you read? And I said, Donnie, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I haven't read anything yet. And he would then tell me, well, I read last night, or I got up early this morning, I read Mark, whatever. And I read the book of John. And here's what this verse said to me. So, and then he invited me. He said, "Hey, we've got a Bible study after the meetings. You need to come with me." So I go with him and come in the door, and there's 25 guys in there. And it's all of my heroes, guys I'd watched on TV. And I started thinking maybe my mother was right. Maybe it's not what you do. Maybe it's not making this team. Maybe it's not signing a big contract, but who you are as a person. And I saw these guys live it out. So that's when it really clicked for me, Jonathan, when I was a rookie and I saw that the guys that I admired put the Lord first over football. Well, that became my goal then from then on. And when I was playing, it was very easy because I was with my peers and my guys that I looked up to thought the same way. Well, I started coaching, and now people question, okay, uh, you're a smart guy, you know the game, but how are you going to push your men? How are you going to motivate? And at that time, especially, people thought, well, if you don't control people by being the boss and you're not this, I guess what they perceived as a coach, well, maybe you can't get it done. And I didn't get several jobs that I interviewed for because they thought I was not tough enough or I didn't have the right exterior. And so people were then telling me, well, you're either going to have to change or at least make people think you've changed if you want to keep climbing the ladder. And I remember I was with the Minnesota Vikings and our chaplain said, don't do that. Don't change. You got to be who you are, honor the Lord. Don't worry about it. And I made up my mind then. That was about 94, 95. And I said, I'm going to be a Christian coach no matter what. And if people can't accept that, I'll just have to stay where I am. But 2 years later, I got hired by the Bucks, and I felt like I was ready because I did it my way, and I didn't change just to get that promotion.
That you said a couple things that I want to hit on, but going back, was his name Donnie?
Donnie Shell, yeah.
Shell.
It's something about that early morning, right? And we could turn this into a whole. this would go from being Ducks Over Feather podcast to us talking about God, but it's something when you in Scripture, right? All throughout Scripture, it's early in the morning, early. So it's something about that early morning time with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It really sets the foundation for your day. One thing that I've started to lean into is before my feet touch the ground, by the time my eyes open, 5 o'clock, 4:30, Lord, have your way with me. Let today be about you. Prepare my mind, my body, my soul to do the work that you have for me. And you get that time with him early, and it does set the foundation for your day. So that when you said that hit me. And then what you said about what it became about for you. My time in Tampa, my last year in Tampa, I was going through a transition spiritually. I've been feeling God pulling on me for a long time, and it was like he got tired of waiting on me. And so he took that veil off and really started pulling on me. And so one morning I was in a meeting room, got in there early in the morning, and I'm going through my devotional. And oftentimes in that sports world, we think it's about me. I got to get mine. I got to do what I need to do. But it was said to me, this space isn't for you. It's for you to serve. It's for you to be here for someone else. It's for someone else to gain through you. It's not about you. So to be of service. So that was big for me. So Coach, as you went through this journey, especially as a young man, because being up there at Oregon, there's a lot of young men, not only at Oregon, but throughout college football, throughout the NFL. We know what this world comes with. We know what this environment is. We know what the temptations are. It's real. As a young man in faith, how did you stay grounded?
Well, I was really fortunate to be around some young guys that I could look up to that led me, and that was important. My parents taught me early about the Lord and right from wrong. Well, I got to college, now I'm out on my own, and you have to decide who you're going to be. And I didn't maybe grow the way I should have, but I always in the back of my mind, no, I can't do this because my parents would not be pleased. I got to represent my family well. So I didn't get too far off track. But then when I got to Pittsburgh and it was, Donnie Shell and John Stallworth and J.T. Thomas and L.C. Greenwood and guys that I looked up to, that were saying, "Hey, man, you got to do things the right way. There's a Steeler way to do things. There's a Lord's way, and you got to be part of that." Well, now I get traded, and then I move on, and I get into my coaching career. Now I have to decide. Okay, I'm on my own. I'm making my decision now. I'm not following this group of guys. Am I going to be true to this, or am I going to do what everybody else is doing? And by that time, I was grounded enough that, hey, I'm going to stay with my beliefs, and I'm going to follow the Lord no matter what, whether it's popular or not.
Yeah, so Kenyon, he wrote a book called Uncommon.
Yeah.
Read this quote here. Integrity is the choice between what's convenient and what's right. Remember that, coach? And
Oh, yes.
so I remember hearing that at one point in my life, like 2010. And then I came across a friend of mine that told me this quote, or told me, you have TC, right? Two choices. And it brought me back to this book, and it brought me back to this quote because it's basically the same. You can do what's convenient or you can do what's right. You got two choices. You can do it now or you can do it later. And it's so simple, but it's so impactful, especially for, the day-to-day regiment that we get on. And a lot of times we get so off track because we get distracted, right? And there's so many distractions for these young men now, especially the college world. Is forever evolving. It's forever changing. I want you to speak to the viewers, the listeners of the college athlete right now when it comes to the convenience and what's right, because I think they need to hear what that is, and there's a reward for that. Because obviously we're human, and so if you tell me that I get a reward for something, I'll buy in,
Yeah.
but and sometimes those rewards look different because a lot, the older we get, we live in this hindsight world, as far as, man, if I would have done this could have happened or whatever. But I want you to speak on, that quote specifically, so that way these young men and women can gain something that they can take with them every day.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and we face those choices all the time. Things are going to happen, and you have decisions to make. Do I do what is right, or what I think is going to be best, or do I do what other people are going to be happy about? And our young athletes today, I know there's a young freshman on the Oregon team now, Zaire Addison, and he's from Tampa. And he told me about, he went to my son's high school, and I got to know him, and he's getting recruited. And, hey, this team's offering me $500,000 NIL, and this team's offering me $750 NIL. And I'm saying, man, I'm glad I didn't have to make those kind of decisions. No.
Making a
But
bag.
then, yeah, so I'm talking to him. Are you going to go where you think is the best place for you? Are you going to go where you really like the coaching staff, where you like the players, where you like the chemistry there? Or are you going to go where you're going to get the most NIL money? You've got to make that decision, and you're going to live with that decision. But that's hard when you're 17, 18, 19 years old. Am I going to do what's right, or am I going to do what's good for the moment? And I think that's what they have to remember. I'll tell you guys a story, and I don't know if I shared it in the book, Jonathan, but I was a first-year defensive coordinator with the Steelers. We're playing the Denver Broncos in a playoff game. They've got John Elway, really good team, and we're out Saturday at the Denver Stadium practicing. And this TV technician comes up to me and says, and I think he was a Steeler fan, he said, I was watching Denver practice earlier, and they were working on a trick play with Gerald Wilhite, a halfback pass. When number 47 comes in the game, be ready for it. And I thought all night, and I was in my bed, should I tell my guys or should I not? I got this information, but I didn't get it the right way. But if I don't tell them, my job is to prepare and be the best we can. So I didn't tell them. In the middle of the third quarter, Gerald Wilhite comes in, number 47. I'm up in the press box. I know what's going to happen. They pitch it to him. He throws the ball. The guy's wide open. And I'm thinking, as the ball's in the air, I'm thinking, man, I might have cost my team a playoff game. And guy catches the ball, but fortunately it was underthrown. Our DBs caught him at the 5-yard line, and I'm just sick. We're going to lose this game, and I knew what was going to happen. Well, the next play, our nose tackle bats the ball, and off John Elway, we get the interception. We win the game.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
coming down in the press
Yes,
box,
Lord.
you were testing me, and we did it the right way. I did what was right, not necessarily what everybody else would have thought was best. But that was a time when I had to make a decision. Was I going to honor God and do what was right, or was I going to do what was best for my team at the time? And honoring the Lord was right.
Man, I love that. That's a true testament of who you are. Because I know a lot of coaches, a lot of people would have did the complete opposite. Ran straight to the head coach, to the D coordinator, and gave up all the good. Thank you for that. But I want to jump into some football, right?
Okay.
Go to Minnesota. You go to the Gophers. So when I bring up the University of Minnesota, what does that mean to you? What brought you to Minnesota? What made you want to go there?
It's crazy. I was a high school quarterback. I lived halfway between Michigan and Michigan State. Everybody thought I was going to go to one of the two. I ended up going to Minnesota. Basically, they said, "Hey, you go create your own legacy, and don't follow the crowd." It was a real blessing. I got to play for a guy named Tom Moore, who went on to be a legendary NFL coordinator. He was my offensive coordinator on our Super Bowl team in Indianapolis. But we ran a pro-style offense, no huddle. He was far ahead of the game. But I went there to develop, and it was a fun time for me. I learned the quarterback position. I got away from my parents, learned how to stand on my own. But unbelievably, my junior year, 1975, which was 50 years ago, we played Oregon. And we came out on top that day.
Take us through that day. Do you remember that day at all?
I remember it very well. I remember it well. I was
take us back now.
We don't know much about the West Coast teams, and we're playing Oregon. They had their best player was a guy named Mario Clark. He ended up being a #1 draft choice corner for the Buffalo Bills. But it was a back and forth tight game, and we kicked a late field goal to win the game. And I can remember walking home afterwards, walking back to my apartment, saying, "Yeah, we got this Pac-8 team at the time they were. We got them."
Man, that's awesome. Like when we were talking about getting you on here, I went back and I Googled like Minnesota, Oregon history, and just wanted to kind of see kind of the track record as far as, the wins and losses. And we're 1-3 to Minnesota, if anybody wanted to know. And lo and behold, I look at the little stat line, 1975, and I guess Oregon was 3-8 that year.
Yeah, it wasn't a great year.
We weren't good.
And so it's cool for us to be talking, 2025, and things have changed.
Right.
Yes.
Oregon is rolling right now. Got one of the hottest coaches in the game as far as, college coaches right now. When we're talking about, setting the tone, right? And we're seeing, across the board, even with the NFL, it's hard to gauge, how you're going to set the tone week in and week out because there's so much data, right? And you have these coordinators now and these head coaches looking at all the data and basically from the outside looking in, because I'm not a coach. I do talk to coaches, I do talk to offensive coordinators, but it seems like they are operating from a different vantage point than which, coaches were operating from 10, 20 years ago. Just a lot more information. But when you look at, Minnesota and Oregon, what matchups jump out at you as far as what Oregon should be concerned about going into this type of game?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because, in my era, Oregon didn't have that great year. Well, I look at it now, and Oregon, when I think of that, if I'm at Minnesota, man, I'm playing one of the top teams in the country, and this team reloads every year. They get 4 or 5 guys drafted. They're in the top 10, and they reload with another, deck of cards, so to speak. And so you're playing a talented team. Minnesota, I would say now is more of a blue collar team. We can throw the ball a little bit, but we're going to basically be hard nosed and try to outfight you. Where I think Oregon is going to be the quick strike. That's what I think of when I think of the Ducks. That somehow you got to defend that quick strike. So I would try, if I'm Minnesota, I'm going to try to force my mentality and see if we can turn this into a street fight, kind of in the phone booth, so to speak, and not let them get their team speed going.
Yeah.
You talked about turning it into a street fight. That's a mentality, right?
Yeah.
How do you compare what this team is today, this Minnesota team, versus what it was when you there? Do you see any similar characteristics and traits between the two?
Yeah.
Now, I know football was different back then. Y'all
Yeah.
could do a whole lot of things we can't do.
But yeah, what
It's
were the
funny.
Minnesota roots back then?
Yeah.
What was the DNA like? What DNA like? And the as far as you being a leader, the quarterback, you turn into a defensive back, and then you turn into a Hall of Fame coach. Like, what roots represent Minnesota?
The Big Ten back then was ground and pound, and my junior year, we were averaging about 18 passes a game, and that was way out. About, it was like, wow, they've really opened it up. Where it's changed a little bit now. I look at Ohio State now, and they're turning out pass receivers and number 1 draft choice receivers. It never was like that in the Big Ten, where Oregon, the West Coast was more of the wide open. And I think we're trying to catch up with that in the Big Ten. And Minnesota now is playing some of that type of football, but definitely the roots were, hey, we're going to be physical. You're going to play cold weather games in November, early December. If you make the playoffs, you're going to be in some bad weather. So you got to know how to fight and be physical.
When you look at today's team, based off of what it was when you were there, do you see any similarities, whether it's coaching style, mentality?
I think the mentality is we're not going to get the 5-star. We're not going to be loaded with high school All-Americans. We're going to get guys who really are going to come and work together, and we got to win as a team, and we've got to win by playing smart and playing sharp and being on top of things. So I think that's the mentality of the guys we recruited at Minnesota, that we got to prove it to you type thing.
When you watch Dan Lanning, with Oregon, what's one? I mean, you have a house, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He still lives, part time in Oregon. So actually, what made you decide to stay and have a place in Oregon? Let's just start there, first of all.
It's crazy. Kenyon, to go back and tell the story, Kenyon's a young running back there. My son visits, Chip Kelly's recruiting him. My son Eric visits, Kenyon takes him out. He's his host for the weekend. And we fell in love with it. Eric signed there. They had a great year, his freshman year, go to the national championship game and lose to Cam Newton and Auburn. But
I was there.
we were loving coming out there, and it was so crowded and so hectic trying to get a place, a hotel room on Duck home game weekends. My wife and I said, well, let's just get a small place. We can leave our stuff there. We won't have to worry about it. When we come out, we can just relax. So we bought a little small home, and we thought it'd be just, when Eric graduates, we'll be good. But we made so many friends, and it was so nice to be out there that we've kept it now for 15 years. We still come out in the summers and we hang out. So I've been around Coach Lanning and watched the team practice, and I love his energy. I love his enthusiasm. He attacks things the right way, and I just love the guys that he recruits. My number 1 player probably in the draft last year was Tez Johnson. I just said, man, there's something about this guy. He's what I like. throw out the tape measure, throw out the stopwatch. That doesn't matter. This guy is going to make plays. Well, Tampa drafts him, and I was ecstatic. I'm telling everybody, hey, we got a real star here. And he wasn't getting in the lineup, but now they've had some injuries, and he's playing and making huge plays for him. But to me, that is the Oregon guy, the guy who's just going to come out here and perform and get the job done.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what Coach Lanning recruits.
Yeah. When you look at Coach Lanning as a coach, right, from an X's and O's standpoint, where do you see his strengths?
I think he's good at adapting. He knows what he's got, and I love the pace that they play with on offense. I love the fact that they've been able to bring quarterbacks in and get them going just, every year with a new guy. And so that's something. And then I like his swarming defense. I knew that's what he was going to bring to the table. And guys with a lot of speed, they play hard, they play aggressive. But I love the way he approaches the game.
This
Go
team,
ahead.
this team, over the course of Coach Lanning's tenure there, they have taken on his identity.
Yeah.
The way that he speaks, the way that he carries himself, his confidence. This team is a mirrored reflection of who Coach Lanning is. And so when you talk about what he brought over, it's that SEC mentality, right? It's the big guys in the trenches, it's the fast guys, it's the physicality. I said this when Coach Lanning first took over. I was like, they aren't building this team for the pack. They're building this team to be and compete with the SEC.
Well, that's the sense that you got. He wanted to win a national championship. He wants to be that program that everybody's measuring themselves against. But he wants to do it the right way. And that's what I love. He's not going to take any shortcuts. He's not going to have guys on the team that aren't going to represent the school well. It's been fun to watch. And you are so right. I mean, if you watch them play and you didn't know who Dan Lanning was, you'd get an idea just the way the team plays. Yeah.
As good as Dan is, we all need coaching. So if there's one thing that you could challenge Dan Lanning with, as far as all the progress and all the accolades so far with his program with Oregon, I know you guys have conversations. Maybe you have challenged him before in the past. What would be that one thing that you would challenge him with?
I would just say in the big games, just be who you are. Don't try to do too much more. Don't think we've got to do something different. Just be Oregon and play your game and let the other people have to adapt to you.
I love to hear it. We'd be preaching the same thing.
Yeah, I tell not only college kids but high school kids, it's times when we get in big games, we feel like we have to do something extraordinary. We have to do something out of this world to make a difference in a game, but you don't have to be extraordinary. You just have to do the ordinary things extraordinarily well.
There you go.
I said that at the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl didn't turn out that way last year, but even continued through this year. I think guys, not only just players, but coaches as well. We get in these moments and it becomes so big that we lose sight of what's gotten us here. Yeah. We lose sight of what we've built throughout the entire season and feel like we got to reinvent the wheel, but you don't.
No.
And so I'm right in line with you.
Oh, right. That's what I used to tell my teams in the big games. We don't have to do anything different. We don't have to play at a higher level. We just have to be able to play our game when it means the most. And if we can do that, we're going to be in great shape.
Yeah. When did you ever when did it become, too much when an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator started going out of the guidelines and the processes of how you wanted to coach a team? When did you step in?
I don't think I ever faced that because I was always preaching that this is who we are, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. And I think the guys that worked for me knew that's how I wanted it done. And I had a commentary on our game Sunday night when the Lions, Dan Campbell, took over the play calling. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you have to do that? Why don't you just tell your guy, this is what I want done, and he does it? But fortunately, I didn't really come across that because that's all we preach is we're going to be who we are, we're going to do what we do, and we're going to do it that way.
But that comes with having the right counsel to begin with, right?
Yeah.
You got to hire the right guys that you that you can trust in. Not to be guys that are gonna say yes to everything you say, but also challenge you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, iron
But
sharpens
then when we
iron.
decide to do a certain way, we're all on board. We're going to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a life thing, right? Especially for young guys. I say this to my brothers and all my friends. Listen, if you can't pull my coattail, if you can't check me, I don't want you around me.
Yeah.
And I think as a player, especially as a player, when you think about an entourage, it's about who you're around and what's around you. As a coach, it's the same thing. Who are you bringing as a head man, who are you bringing onto your staff? Listen, if I can't take correction from you, if I can't take constructive criticism, then I don't need you around me. So I think that's a huge thing. I want to dive into Minnesota a little bit more. When you were there, what were some traditions and what were some cultural things that they still carry through today?
The biggest tradition I had to get used to was we in spring practice, one of our guys told the coach, you can't have a practice on such and such a day. That's opening day. And I'm like, what is he talking about? It was opening day of fishing season. All the guys went. So you had to work around that because fishing with your dad was more important than practicing football. So that was something. And then the trophy games, which I knew about. I was from Michigan, so I knew the Little Brown Jug and the history between Michigan and Minnesota. But Florida Rosedale Trophy, Minnesota, Iowa, and the Bronze Pig for the winner, and then Paul Bunyan's Axe, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I got to learn that those big rivalry games meant something, and you had to be ready.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, we won't get too much of your time here. You know, before we leave, I just want to ask you if you can give one piece of advice to a 19-year-old right now. And I say 19-year-old because that person's probably already in college and has already made a decision of where they are and where they're going to go. And they have all these distractions. You have NIL now. You have all the complications at home as far as people being in your ear. What's some advice that you can give the young 19-year-old athlete, and not just athlete, just a young 19-year-old that's finding their way and they have decisions to make?
Yeah, my advice, and it centers on another Bible verse that we learned when I was with the Steelers, and it's 1 Corinthians chapter 9, and Paul says, in a race, everyone runs, but there's only one first prize, so run to win. And that means that, hey, if you want to win and you want to be the best, you got to work at it. You got to be prepared to work because there's no substitute for hard work. It doesn't matter how much talent you have to be prepared to outwork everybody around you. But then the next verse says, athletes do it to win a prize that'll fade away. We need to win the eternal prize. So I would tell that young 19-year-old, you're going to have to work hard if you want to achieve your goals, but put just as much work into being a good student, being a good person in the community, and into your eternal value. Put just as much work about being the person the Lord wants you to be. And if you're ready to work hard and do that, you're going to be successful.
it's beautiful. I'm gonna leave you with this last thing. Finish this sentence for me. Minnesota is where I learned to blank.
Be a man. I learned to grow up, and I wasn't under my parents' wing anymore. I had to make decisions, just what we're talking about. Am I going to do the popular thing? I'm going to hang with the guys, or am I going to do what's right and do what's best for me? And that's what you have to learn to grow up and be a man.
Love that, Coach. Well, look, we thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute honor, absolute pleasure. By far one of my favorite interviews, the chance that we've gotten. So thank you again for your time, Coach.
Forever.
Yeah.
Great to see both of you guys. And I used to sit up in the stands in 2010 and 11 with Kenyon's dad, and just we come in, how you doing? How's he doing? And it was it was a great time. So I feel like I'm a partial Duck anyway.
Yeah, I know, you a Duck. You a part of the flock.
You heard it, everybody. He's a Duck.
Yeah, you part of the flock, no doubt about it. Coach,
All
we
right.
appreciate you, man.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so
guys.
much.
All right, now.
Great being with you. Thank you.
With that being said, Jay Stu, Ducks got Minnesota, Stu, at the crib,
Mhm.
6 p.m. on Fox. The Ducks are a 25.5-point favorite. Are we going over or under?
What's the weather gonna be like?
You said, well, I
That dictates
thought I was
everything
listening
at
to
this
them.
point.
I thought I was listening to the same lunatics. What the hook gonna be? Hold on now. I don't know what the weather's gonna be. It's Eugene.
Man,
It's
if the
probably
weather's
gonna be
gonna
raining
be
and
bad,
cold.
which I expect it is, during this time of year, this is when it start raining. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to go under.
I'm with you. I'm
going under.
I like a nice surprise
But
if
we
y'all
gonna
go
get
over. I
but
love a nice
it's still
surprise.
gonna be a butt whooping. It's still gonna be a butt
Yeah, it's still gonna be a whooping. Listen, I
Yeah.
just need our defense to show up and continue to play that we can't go backwards, right? We've said that time and time again. Like, y'all put a performance like that together, like that's the expectation. That's the standard now. So if we do that, it'll
Bring the
absolutely
pain.
bring that physicality.
Bring the pain and make it hurt. And it's okay if you get hurt. Just bring the pain.
Bring the pain.
It's gonna hurt.
Bring the pain. Sometimes you got to take the pain like a vitamin, okay? But
boy, what? Hey, boy, what? You gotta take the pain like a vitamin.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take the pain like a vitamin, and that's all we got to do. Take the pain, swallow it, keep going. But listen,
dog.
we want to thank Coach Dungy for coming on with us, blessing us with his time and with his presence. It's truly an honor. I know we both enjoyed that. But with that said, Jay Stu, as always, I love you. And
Love you
remember,
too,
baby,
dog.
ducks of a feather flock together, and we out.